Hi guys, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and it is Sat Chat time. It is actually Friday afternoon, 4:29 when I'm reading this. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. It is supposed to be like upper 60s and sunny on Saturday in Maine, so I'm very excited because we have plans to be outdoors with friends, and that's desperately needed. I haven't left the house in over a week, so that'll be good. Other than to walk the dog. I haven't left in a vehicle, I should say, in over a week. Oh, I got a hair in my eye or something. So it'll be good to get out. It's funny, we have this app on our phones called Life 360, and it's really handy because, you know, we have teenage drivers. And it will tell you, like, you know, so-and-so has been at home since, you know, 4:15 p.m. You know, mine's like, home since April 15th. So it's kind of funny, but funny in a sad way, I suppose. But yeah, we got plans to be out tomorrow. I'm excited to be out in the beautiful sunshine, and I hope it is as warm as the weather guys say, because it has been cold these last couple of days. Just very windy and raw out, so I'm really hoping that the weather warms up. I've had, like, I'm in my long sleeves, my turtlenecks, long pants, wool socks, coats, sweatshirts, everything, and it's I'm getting ready for spring. I'm really ready for spring. So I decided last week, it was last weekend, probably I think it was Saturday actually, that I'm going to do a reset, just like a reset, my diet, my shopping habits, everything. I just feel like I've been a little off the rails. Not that my diet has ever really been that bad, but and I'm coming up on my 27th year being a vegan diet-wise, plant-based. So, you know, I eat pretty healthy. However, one thing that I have a bad habit of is I don't want to say vegan junk food, but vegan, like the fake meats, like the 7-grain tenders and the fake turkey cutlets, and, you know, just the frozen, like fake meat that, you know, it's just so convenient because if I'm cooking like chicken breast for the meat eaters in the family, I can throw in the vegan chicken breast in the oven at the same time, and it's just like all the vegetables will go with either and the starch will go with either, and it's just more convenient and they're delicious. So it's just, you know, it's a really easy thing to do, and it's kind of a bad habit. It's a bad habit for a couple of reasons. I mean, it's highly processed, and also it's very expensive. So, you know, I'd be healthier to eat simpler foods, and it would certainly be a lot more frugal. So also, I was really shocked. It was a couple months ago. I was shocked at how quickly I had gone through a bottle of olive oil. Like a couple of years ago, I lost 30 pounds, and I did it calorie restriction, no, you know, big surprise or mystery there. But one of the things I did was I did not use oil. And it's amazing how it kind of creeps back into your daily cooking. And I haven't gained that 30 pounds back, but you know, I have my winter blubber, my, you know, 5 or 10 pounds of winter blubber that, you know, you get every year. That I want to bid adieu to, and especially now that we're gonna have warm weather, so the weatherman says. So it's like, I was really surprised. I think I'd gone through a bottle of olive oil, and granted I'm cooking for 5 people and we're eating like 3 meals a day at home. Like, I don't know, it was within like probably a couple months, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of oil that I'm feeding my family. So so I haven't had any, so since last Saturday, I haven't had any oil, haven't had any bread, haven't had any processed foods. It's been all basically, you know, steamed vegetables, raw vegetables, fruit, like raw fruit, potatoes, rice. It's been pretty boring, and lots of, you know, I'm using like lemon juice and apple cider vinegar and like red pepper, crushed red pepper flakes, and, you know, stuff like that to make it a little more flavorful. But yeah, so I've been doing a reset, so I'm just hoping, you know, I don't know, like a red pepper will taste like candy or something like that. I mean, I eat pretty healthily, but definitely the vegan junk food has been a downfall. Vegan ice cream, man, that stuff's worse than regular ice cream. Like, if you look at the calories in like the vegan Haagen-Dazs, it is like 100 calories more per serving than like traditional, like, I don't know about Haagen-Dazs, but like traditional ice cream. So it's like, this is not healthier. But yeah, I've stuck to a plant-based diet since I was 17. It was right before my 18th birthday. So, you know, it's about, it's a long time ago. And you can do the math. Yeah, it's just, you know, there's just so much more available now in just like the regular grocery store for vegan junk food that is very easy. Did you know Oreos are actually vegan, and so are sweet and spicy Doritos? Yeah, I know all of the loopholes, guys. You want to know? I know, and I'm also not eating any nuts. So yeah, gonna dropped a couple pounds actually just from that. But you can eat as much as you want of like raw vegetables and steamed vegetables, and you know it's called low calorie density, and like so basically like the food would have less than 600 calories per pound. So anything that's in that category you can eat. So you can't eat peanut butter, you can't eat like oils or margarine or dried fruit or anything like that that would be like high calorically dense, but any of the other stuff, although you kind of lose your will to eat, I gotta say. You can eat as much as you want, but you will not want to. It's kind of like, oh, I made like, I'm like, I hate cooking, so I made like a huge batch of this this broccoli. We had so much broccoli for some reason, and so I'm like, well, I'm just gonna chop it up. I'm gonna steam it with some ginger and water and some garlic powder, and I made so much of it, and then I portioned it out into these like little kind of like meals you would take to work, I guess, little Tupperwares, divided Tupperwares. So I had like probably 2 cups of that broccoli, and then maybe 3/4 of a cup of rice, and like a 1/4 cup of like just chickpeas, just rinsed and drained from the can. Oh man, I was so sick of that. I would like throwing like red pepper flakes on it, throwing soy sauce. I was just like, man, by the last day, I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna throw that in a salad. Maybe like if I mix it up with some other raw vegetables, the ginger, just too much ginger. I'm trying to make a low-cal pizza tonight, so I haven't had any bread all week, but I've got dough in the bread maker, and I'm gonna roll it up really thin on parchment paper, because let me tell you what I usually do, and it's friggin' delicious. I make pizza at least once a week, and I make my dough in the bread maker, and then I take the cookie sheets and I coat them with olive oil, and then I sprinkle on garlic and salt, and then I roll out the pizza crust right on the dough, right on that, so like when it cooks, it actually like fries like the dough a little bit, and it is so freaking delicious. But I'm gonna see if it's just as delicious without the oil. Anybody want to take any bets? By tomorrow morning when this goes up, I will have done that, and we'll be able to we'll see. I'm not thinking it will be as delicious, but something I did try that was actually delicious, and I was very surprised, was slicing up a potato and putting it on parchment paper and baking it. I did salt it. I probably should give up the salt too, but I'm definitely having way less salt than usual. And I think we need some salt, right? And then just baking it and like flipping it, and they actually browned up. I did not think potatoes would brown up without, because usually what I'll do is I will slice up the potatoes and I will spray it with some baking spray, like some you know, just like olive oil spray or canola oil spray, and sprinkle it with salt and garlic and bake it that way so it gets a little crispy. So I didn't think it would work without the oil. I thought it's going to stick or it's just going to dry out and be nasty, but it was actually decent. So so that was one of my meals. That was some like, I took some black beans and apple cider vinegar and lemon juice and a bunch of spices and just kind of like blended it so it made kind of like a dip, and I used that. That was when you don't have any fat in things seem extra sour and spicy, I've noticed. And I like spicy stuff, but it just kind of like, you know, it kind of upsets your stomach after a while. So I don't know. I'm on a reset right now. I'm also on a reset shopping because I just have been off the rails. I showed you stuff I got last week on my trip to Fiddleheads, which I don't regret because that's a small store and I like to support independent businesses. We don't have, like, I think that's probably the closest like independent well, that is a quilt. It does have fabric too, but pretty much all of the like the independent craft stores are actually just like quilting stores, like fabric stores. There aren't any like just general crafts or general art supply stores. So I definitely like to support that, and I don't regret anything I bought. And I've actually used some of the stuff I got already in an upcoming video for next week. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I'd also ordered some stuff before I went on that spree, and it just came like the other day. So I'm just like, you need to reset. So it was like when this stuff came in the mail, it was like, I think it was last Friday after I filmed Sat Chat. I'm like, Lindsay, get it together. But I'll show you what I got anyway. I picked up these stencils, round stencils. I do have some round stencils. They're like doilies, and as you know, I use my stencils a lot. This was, I think, about $5 or $6, maybe $7. I'm thinking they're around $6. So we'll say between $5 and $7 in case but look at the size of these. These are like, I think they're like, I'm going to hold them in front of my shirt since my shirt is black. They are about 7 inches, I would say. I have a 6-inch and an 8-inch round jelly plate, and I'm just kind of excited to see what I could do. I was thinking I would use these for a card base, but I think they might be a little big for that. But maybe not. Maybe nice for like oversized cards, or maybe, they'd be really cute to like do some cool gel printing and then maybe put them on, like, I don't have any clear plates, but if I did, that'd be really cute for like a Mother's Day brunch or something. Look at that rose. I'm sure there's like, wouldn't that be cute to like jelly print on fabric and do like a tapestry or a mural or something? I don't know if I'm that ambitious, but I mean, look at that. That's cute. But it is big enough that if you wanted to use a smaller plate, I think that would cover like a card, like an A2 size card, my A2 size plate that I just cut down a couple weeks ago. I have a video on that where I took an extra 5x7 that I had and I cut it down so I could have a tag size one and a like an A2 size one. So I cut it so it'd be just smaller, so I'd have a pretty border. That one is really cute too, with like the it almost looks like cherry blossoms. And then this one, this was like Queen Anne's lace. Anyway, that's been in my like wish list for a while, and for some reason I clicked on my wish list and I'm like, oh yes, I forgot about that. So I needed something to get to free shipping. I don't know what. See guys, I had to order more face masks for the kids, and so I needed something to get to free shipping because I don't have Prime. So, and that's why you wait like 2 weeks for your stuff to arrive. So that's why I had purchased those a couple weeks ago, and they just finally came last Friday after I filmed Snapchat. So, and I did also order these Mitsubishi pencils. It was a set of 12. It was $13. I'm like, I was curious about these. Don't waste your money, guys. I probably will do a review on these, but I wanted to see if they were similar to another pencil that I'm reviewing that's from Japan coming up soon, and yeah, they're nowhere near as good. I don't know. I heard good things. I saw good reviews on these, but the people that were reviewing them had the really big set, so I'm wondering if maybe if you have that big set, either they work really well together, or you feel they're expensive. Those big sets are like crazy. And I'm thinking maybe if you spend that much money on your pencils, you're just hoping they're going to be awesome. So like you're biased because you've spent so much money on them that you're like, I'm like, what a waste of money. They're cute though. And the noise they make when you like, I don't want to drop them, but when you like tinkle them together, they sound like the Erogitins, which are another pencil I don't really like, but they're so beautiful that like, they're so gorgeous. So I'm like, yeah, I never use these. I don't like them. They're so hard, but they're beautiful. They're just so pretty to look at. So they spark joy, as Marie Kondo would say. So, I saw this. This was also in my, like, when I need something to get me to free shipping, because it was like $5. This paper pad, which I thought was really pretty. And I thought the scale, I like the soft patterns because the soft colors, I use stuff like that a lot in card making. And also for envelopes and things like that. And I figured I'd take a chance for $5, why not? And I thought I was getting a steal of a deal of a century, but then when I was getting my vaccine last week at Walmart, they have these for like $5.88. So it wasn't as a steal of a deal as I thought it was, but you know, hey, it's pretty paper, and I can use it for cards and envelopes, and I like that kind of scheme. So I'm keeping it right in here because I will use it with some of my next cards. And I do have a couple other things that came into review from Derwent that I don't think I'll haul them because I think I'll just wait for it to do the review. Well, actually, you know what? I can tell you what they are. The pastel shades, they're pastel watercolors that are brand new. I'm really curious about them because I think that they are formulated like Inktense. So I'm going to play with those a bit because you're supposed to be able to lay them down and not relift them. And usually with pastel watercolors are very liftable. So I'm very curious about them. And also, I've wanted these for a while, the Derwent Pro Color. And it'll be a while before I get those reviewed. I have a few other things I need to review first that I've been working on, but I'm very excited for those because I don't tend to sell my original color pencil work, but I might want to do prints someday, and I think the Pro Colors are more designed to reproduce better, like in photograph, and most of my work I just photograph and stick on my blog and on Instagram and stuff, so I think those actually might be my cup of tea quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to using that. So yeah, a lot has come in. I need to create with that and not add more to the hoard because it's getting a little out of hand. So what do I want to talk about next? There's been kind of a scandal in the art world, which it's kind of one of those things like, well, we should have known all along, but a friend of mine told me that you've got to check out this Instagram account called World Pigment Day because they have analyzed a bunch of the Daniel Smith Primatech watercolors and found out that they are not solely made of those pigments. They are not what they claim to be. And so Daniel Smith has this line. They're really popular. If you don't know who they are, Daniel Smith is a really popular watercolor brand. They actually make oil paints too. They're a very popular American paint company. And if you've ever been on their website and looked at the descriptions, they have like very flowery romance novel-like descriptions for all of their paints. I find it quite comical, but I'm like, whatever, the paint's good. I don't think it's that good, but it's good. And you know, they make a decent paint. I'm not knocking their paint whatsoever, but they came out with this line of paint called Primatech. Actually, I think their first paint might have come out in the 90s. But you know, as over the course of centuries, artists have made their paints from minerals from the earth. And nowadays, a lot of pigments are made synthetically in factories. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, a lot of those pigments are much more stable than pigments made from plants. So you've got different kinds of pigments. You've got mineral pigments, pigments that are dug up, they're mined, they're made from precious stones, they're made from iron, they're made from stuff from the ground that is never alive. Those would be your inorganic pigments. And then you have your organic pigments. Those would be dyes that are laked from like plants and things like that, things that were alive. And then you have synthetic pigments. Those are pigments that are made in factories, and a lot of the stuff we use right now are synthetic pigments. In fact, a lot of the micas that we use that come in our paints are synthetic micas, which is great because, you know, the mica industry has been rife with human abuse violations. So I don't think there's anything wrong with synthetic pigments. In fact, we have the benefit of like the automotive industry, you know, commissioning huge amounts of pigments. So we have this variety of colors now that are more stable than organic pigments. So Daniel Smith has heavily marketed their line of Primatech paints, which are paints that come from minerals, so they say. And if you pick up a tube of, say, Amethyst Genuine, it says that under the pigment information, it says genuine amethyst. However, the scientist who specializes in pigments, she has uncovered that most of the paints in that range contain mainly synthetic pigments and mica. And that's what's giving it that look of the little bit of a sparkle that like amethyst would have. So I would imagine it would have to contain some of the genuine pigment for them to call it genuine, but she has gone through so many different pigments and put them through her geological tests and her looked up under her microscope. And just go to World Pigment Day on Instagram. You can look all through her research and findings, and it's just kind of disappointing because they claim that these are made from rocks and nothing else, you know. Now, I'm sure the way that they've worded it has made it legally fine for them to do it, but when people are spending $30 a tube for watercolors and they think they're buying crushed minerals, then that's misleading. And it's just really too bad. And I'm not saying their paints aren't beautiful, but I'm saying if you can get the same paint from another company for, you know, a fifth of the price, then, you know, it's kind of a swindle when, you know, you're getting, like, say, dioxazine violet and mica when you're paying for amethyst. Now, on the other hand, we should have known better, because if you look at an amethyst stone, why would we ever think that you could grind that up and get such a vibrant color when it's mostly clear? You know, I guess our common sense should have jumped in there and said, wait a minute, seriously. But they made the point of marketing it like they show hunks of rocks on top of the swatches of the paint, and they don't disclose these other pigments. And they were confronted, one of the representatives was confronted on a Facebook Live a couple days ago, and he said, basically, buy them or don't buy them. It's up to you. We don't have to tell you how we make it. We don't have to tell you what's in it. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting directly, but I'm paraphrasing. So I just think it's a little disappointing because they don't have to do that. They make a decent paint, but to knowingly mislead people for the sake of marketing and the sake of sales is just not right. They don't need to. They make good paint. They don't need to lie. They don't need to embellish like that. So I don't know if anything's going to come of it. I guess the Handprint website did an analysis of the pigments and said that he strongly doubted that they were completely made of minerals. But I don't know how many people saw that or how many people care. I think a lot of times when we buy things, we're just wishing that the claims are true. I mean, look at our skincare products, you know, look at how much we spend on makeup that is supposed to erase our wrinkles and make us youthful. And, you know, whether it works or not, I mean, it's marketing, and it's sad to see that in our paint as well. So buyer beware, Primatech line from Daniel Smith. Just thought you ought to know. The thing that actually surprised me was I was surprised. I wasn't going to dry them down in pans because I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to re-wet these. And I was surprised that they re-wet decently, which should have been a clue right there that they probably were not what they said they were, because mineral pigments generally are very difficult to re-wet. If you have Potter's Pink or Viridian, like honest to goodness, Viridian is very difficult to re-wet and seems kind of weak even. So really should have known better. Now that I see, but seeing it confirmed, it's kind of like, it's just disappointing that, a trusted American paint company would lie. And I mean, or would market deceitfully. I guess I can't say lie. They could have it's like a, how they used to market like all those like gummy candies and everything, and like made with real fruit juice, and like breakfast cereals made with real fruit juice or made with real fruit, and it's only like 2%. That's what I feel like about the Permadeck line. It's like made with real pigments, it's only 1%, but and of course they're not going to say what their percentage of pigments to other bulk in a tube is, but it's just really deceitful, where when you look at pigment information, when you're trying to determine whether your paint is going to last or not or be light fast, it doesn't list all of the things, because some of the pigments that they're using are not light fast. If you're buying a pigment that you think is a genuine mineral, which is like, well, a mineral shouldn't change, it's not organic, it should be what it is, and then your work fades, it's not every color from any paint manufacturer is going to be light fast. They make the colors that people want to buy. Opera Rose, there's one in particular, very fugitive. Alizarin Crimson, very fugitive, but people want it, so companies make it. So you can never count just because you're buying an artist grade paint that it's going to be light fast. But you should be able to look at that label and decide for yourself, do your own research and say, do I want to trust Aurelian, or do I want to get maybe Azo Green instead, because that's more light fast. You should be able to look at that pigment number and discern if that's important to you. They should not disclose and hide the pigments that are in a paint. I'm not saying they need to write a recipe so their competitors can copy them, but let the artist know what's in there so they can decide whether they want to trust it or not. Right now, I do not trust that company. That's like, and you know what happens when companies get on my list? Oh boy. Oh, something else I want to mention. First of all, guys, Pastel Sale. I still have a sale on my pastel class through the end of the month. Use coupon code April Showers. I'll put it in the video description. If you're in Critique Club, this tutorial will be up shortly. I was kind of bummed out because I used fixative on it and it darkened. I was so bummed. So I don't know if I'm going to go over it with another layer to brighten things up or leave it as is. I'm going to look at it for a bit, but this tutorial will be up. If it's not up right now, it will be up tomorrow in Critique Club, and I'll have a time lapse on Sketchbook Sunday for it. But it's pastel, and it was a lot of fun. So if you are in Critique Club, you can look forward to this. If you would like to learn more about Critique Club, it's $5 a month, and you get 2 new tutorials every month. You have access to the previous 50-something tutorials that are up there now, and you have access to all of that as long as you're a member, and you can upload 2 paintings a month for critique if you want to. Some people just join it for the tutorials, some people like the critique. It's whatever, make it work for you, but that's available. If anybody's interested, you can cancel anytime, and I'll put that link in the video description as well in case you are interested. And something I wanted to recommend, actually, because I had this grungy old table that we were kind of this office is next to the old filming space. I was actually going to film that pastel tutorial in the old space, but it was just too cold still. So if you remember the old craft room, that's about 1/4 of the basement, and the opposite side of the basement, like over there, because like the old craft room is right over there. I still use it for storage and for big projects. On the opposite side is my husband's workshop, and then we have the office here, and then I have a utility room and the freezer and stuff over there, and then we have this other space over there where this is the furnace, is kind of like next to Jason's work area, and then we've got this big open space where we have gym equipment, and so we want to kind of redo that, make it a little bit nicer, put in better lighting, because, we work out over there. It's just not it's kind of depressing. It's kind of like, horror movie. It's a little murdery looking over there, so we want to brighten it up and make it a little bit nicer. And I had this it was called like a fold and go. It was this craft table workbench thing, and I used to use it all the time in my apartment, like 20-something years ago, and I had it in the old space for a while with my paper cutter on it. It's been used for so many different things, but it had just been folded up for like the last 5 years or so, and it had like, Lila had decorated the top with duct tape, and I went to peel it off and it was all like dusty and all the adhesive was stuck to the top. I used this, and this took off like dry paint and that duct tape adhesive, and this is from the Dollar Tree. It's called LA's Totally Awesome. And it's pretty great. It was $1, and they have bigger containers of it with like a cap instead of a spray bottle. And I recommend, because you're supposed to dilute this for so many different things. I used it straight on that table and it took paint off. It was crazy. It's not like pristine and brand new looking, but it looks like 100 times better than it did before. I just wanted to recommend that because we're artists. We make real messy messes. So so I thought that might be useful to some of you. I probably will get an empty spray bottle and like the refill so I can dilute it like 10 to 1, because a lot of things, like you can clean your bathtubs and toilets and things like that, but you're supposed to dilute it way down. I don't want to damage anything by having it too strong. But like, man, usually dollar store cleaning products are a little on the weak side, but that was pretty good. And so the other thing I want to tell you, because last week I asked you guys, did you want me to do a video on layering stamps, comparing rubber stamps, the cheap silicones and the more expensive photopolymer? And I filmed that and it'll be up next week. And this is one card that I made with it I wanted to share. And what I did, this was stamped with good quality stamps. They're from Impression Obsession. And I used dye ink. And then I thought, oh, I wish I could emboss it. So then I took the base layer and I stamped over it with Versamark. And then, I don't know if I can catch a see, I made it all shiny. I embossed over it. I thought that was so cool. And then this was an Altenew, more expensive one. I just kind of drew a stock there. Well, you know, I'm just kind of, you don't need to see the tutorial apparently, because I'm just going to tell you how I did everything. This was the cheapies, and that was the cheapies with dye ink. So I thought that was actually pretty decent. And there's a couple others here that these were rubbernecker or rubber layering stamps, which I love those. I like them because you don't have to be so precise and they're really quick to use. So that would be my favorite. I'm not sure if they're still making the rubber ones anymore. I know this one, this stamp, the layered poppies, is still available. I think they've switched over to clear stamps. They have a lot of clear versions, but I like the rubber ones because I had an excuse not to be perfect on them. So that's coming up soon. And I got a chance to use my new Color One crayons. And look at that. I thought that was so cute. I mean, it's not like great art to write home about or anything, but I had such a ball with them. I can't wait to use them again. I used them with my Prismacolors actually. And I used them on this heating pad that I have that is meant for, it's right here. It's meant for like using in garages and basements to like stand on or have under your desk for your feet to be on to like be warm. And I thought, I wonder if I could use that with colored pencils. And yes, you can, and it works fantastic. And I made real quick work of that. So let me know if you want a tutorial for this, because I did film it. I could edit it down to a little bit shorter and post it. It was fun. Very, very similar to colored pencil, except quick, because you have these really big, you know, thick sticks of pigment to work from. I'm gonna look at my phone real quick to see if I have anything else to talk about. No, I think I've gotten all of it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Things are looking positive. Sun's gonna be shining, it's gonna be warm. I think it might rain or snow or something on Sunday, but I'm holding out hope for my 65-degree weather, maybe 70, I hope 70. Warm enough for sunscreen. That's what I'm hoping for. But I hope you're having an awesome weekend. I hope you do something creative today, and take care of yourself. Till next time, happy crafting. Bye.